late 90s and early 200s onwards, we saw that, there was a rise in the nuclear setup of families. The biggest reasons today is the expensive cost of living. Though in-laws have become a lot more understanding, accommodating, yet there is an encroachment on your private space as a couple. How there is a lack of private space private encroachment of space in joint family setups. Well, the truth is that 80% of the couples actually want private space even within a couple. The concepts of increased independence, increased self-growth, self-evolution, increased autonomy in relationships, that has been going on for quite a while, right? So in the 90s and late 90s and early 200s onwards, we saw that, there was a rise in the nuclear setup of families, right? People wanted to start staying separately, although specifically in India, Tier 3, definitely it was a norm that in the rural areas that, joint setup was the way of life. Tier 1, Tier 2 started to kind of, de-escalate, delineate from there and started to form nuclear setups. And what was the reason? The reason was people wanted increased independence. Everybody started talking about concepts of self-growth, self-awareness. We were knowing more about ourselves. We wanted to talk more about just two of us as a couple together versus the entire family. People did not want to take the responsibility of the entire family together. They were complaining about a lot of interference coming in from the in-laws, difficulty in adjustment. Of course, financial freedom was there. If you're in a nuclear setup, there's more financial freedom. You can choose to spend what you want to do, choose to spend time how you like to do with each other as a couple. At the end of the day, you don't have to go into a family drawing room, spend time with people and then have couple time. So consequently, there was a lack of emotional intimacy, lack of sexual intimacy in joint family setups. But do you know that there is a complete reversal of what is happening now almost? So the trending, what we are seeing is now from about 2017, 2018, there is a jump in the joint family setup. So people are now again reversing the trend to go from nuclear setups to joint setups. So in fact, in 2018 or so, there were only 20% joint families, and that has increased to 50%. So what's going on? Although these concepts are still there consuming us about our empowerment, self-growth, self-evolution. So what's going on? How come now the new generations are choosing more to be with the joint family? So one of the biggest reasons today is the expensive cost of living, specifically in Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities, as we're seeing that, although they're couples, both couples are working. So now what happens? The couple comes back home, both the people come back home, and then there is no food cooked at home. There's no one to take care of the children, and it's expensive to hire nannies. It's expensive to take care of their safety concerns. There are so many other concerns as well. So today where people are moving back into the joint family system for the increased support, the increased caregiving. So you're coming home to a warm cooked meal, your children are being taken care of. You may be compromising a little bit on your intimacy and your space. In fact, people are even financially, they're sharing the burden of the household, so it becomes a lot easier. Couples are putting more goals as to purchasing assets of their own, like let's say a car or something better, or new gadgets, versus spending that much on their rentals or on their homes, because now that's being a shared space altogether. Even another important thing is that after COVID, we all realize how important it is to have a loving family, friends, a loving support structure around us. And people are recognizing that the rise of spirituality, where we understand at how important the warmth of the Indian family system is. But having said that, there is a very big concern, which is the lack of privacy, which couples talk about a lot in counseling when they are talking about being in a joint family system. So having said that, when we are talking about, lack of privacy, what does it do to your marriage? One, of course, there could be an emotional strain because you may not be getting to spend that much of time together as a couple. Today, everybody is running, both people are working. When they come back home, there is a desire, the family desires that they should sit with them as well. So that barely leaves the couple with any time to themselves. So either there is sleep deprivation if they want to spend time with each other, or else there is mounting of fatigue. Then, of course, there is no conversation, there are lesser conversations, lesser communication, consequently leading to decreased emotional intimacy and consequently also leading to decreased sexual intimacy. Sexual intimacy is nothing but an extended expansion of our emotional self and our emotional intimacy. Thereby we have the concepts of DINS, which is double income, no sex means or sex only on the weekend. That's scheduled timing sex because there's no privacy at the home. You're also very absorbed in household day-to-day activities with the family, so the boundaries are a lot lesser. We of course see that although in-laws have become a lot more understanding, accommodating, yet there is an encroachment on your private space as a couple. So more family outings, less couple outings, less me time. And having said that, then there are expectations with the extended family system. You expect you have guests coming in, you have to take care of them. You are going for more social gatherings which involve families and not just the couple. Consequently, we also see that there is a power dynamics at home, very, very common. The power dynamics in the kitchen with the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, the power dynamics with the children when a mom-in-law who's at home, who's taking care of the kids, when the woman comes back home, there seems to be a power dynamics. The mom comes back and there is a lot of frustration, resentment which builds up because children are not relating that much anymore. So having said that, both things come with their pros and cons, the nuclear family setup and the joint family setup. And there could be also a lot of mental strain on self, mental strain on the couple, emotional strain. So what do we do? Although we're talking about how there is a lack of private space private encroachment of space in joint family setups, well, the truth is that 80% of the couples actually want private space even within a couple. So it's really not got to do anything with setup at all. It's also the fact that each individual human being needs to and desires to have a private space of their own, even within a couplehood. And like I said, 80% people want that. And that is the way it should be also, where we maintain some me time, some couple time and some family times. So how are we going to balance ourselves? How are we going to, one is, please change your mindset. It's not about the people around, it's about you. How we are going to take to the people around us, how we are going to take to ourselves first. So if I'm in balance with myself, I will be in balance with my couple, I will be in balance with the family around, I will be in balance with my children. So very importantly, spend some time on yourself every day, whether you're in a nuclear setup or you're in a joint setup. Take out some time to exercise, meditate, some mindfulness, some breath work, which allows you to ground yourself with each other, syncs your inner being with yourself. That allows you then to go out and be the kind of person you want to be. Let it be a nuclear setup or a joint setup. Of course, in a joint setup, you can start to communicate with the people around, set more boundaries, talk more to your spouse to see how one can, settle with each other. Make sure that you take out some couple time for each other every couple of days. Make sure you take out on the weekend. You could, have one meal, just the couple by themselves. You could we still encourage date nights, and one meal could be with the entire family together. So setting some boundaries, knowing yourself better, knowing your partner better can help us settle very beautifully in a wonderful, loving family.